Right, Benny Henry, obviously proud to be having a little informal interview with my favourite son, Ben. He's got no idea what I'm going to ask him, so everything I ask him is going to be seat of the pants. So there'll be quite a few ums and ahs, but that's the way we do it, isn't it? That's the way we do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, you ready? Ready to go for it? Right, quick fire.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, maybe kind of. Let's see how we go. Okay, right. Okay, so tell me in a breath, Ben. In a breath, tell me about Ben. A breath.
So I'm a 28 business owner. I run a web agency. Yeah. Is that long enough breath?
Well, I think that was 2 breaths actually, but you're on. Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. So, give me one trait that you have in common with your mum and your dad. One thing that's similar to your mum and one thing that's similar to your dad. Characteristic. What would you say there?
Separately or?
Oh, separately. Yeah, separate. Yeah, separate. Yeah.
Separately.
Yeah.
I think kind of hands-on skill from mum, and then kind of academic from you.
Right. You're trying to say I'm not practical. I've not got any do-it-yourself skills. Is that what you're trying to say? Right. Okay.
You wouldn't got houses to change a light on your car. So the bulb. Giving all my secrets away, Ben. Right. Okay. All right. So, how would you describe what you do to your Auntie Nora, who's in her 70s, mid-70s? How do you describe it? Build things like Facebook and Google and not WhatsApp, YouTube, stuff like that. That's kind of what I do, building sites for businesses.
Brilliant. Okay. Good. Okay. And what's the ideal customer that you serve? You know, what's the kind of target market? You know, who do you enjoy working with? You know, customer wise.
Yeah, I mean, us is generally kind of e-commerce. So, sorry, can you hear me all right?
The sound's not great, Ben. So the sound's not great.
Is it not?
But, yeah, it's a bit of an echo, but.
Hang on, give me.
Is that any better?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's
Is
a lot
that
better? Yeah. Okay. Well, carry on.
Cool. Yeah. So sort of do a lot of e-commerce, sort of mid-size businesses, sort of kind of at least sort of five, 6 members of staff. Yeah, kind of locations kind of irrelevant worldwide. We've got a worldwide kind of client base. So
Okay.
kind of geographically, we're kind of pretty well covered, really. So
Fantastic. Worldwide, right? Because you've got clients in America, I think. Have you been out to see one of the American clients?
Yeah. Been out to Florida to see a client. We've got kind of Canada, America, New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, Japan. Yeah.
Wow.
I have to do a worldwide client client visit at some point.
Well, I think the trip to Florida, that was obviously a business expense, wasn't it? I think. I mean, you had to put, obviously you were doing.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Okay. All right. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you miss having a job? You know, where 1, not at all, 10, you miss it badly and you want to go back to having a job. On a scale of 1 to 10.
2.
2.
There's the odd occasion where it would be lovely for somebody else to be in control, but I think it's few and far between. I as much as I kind of liked where I worked, I prefer doing what I'm doing now.
Brilliant. And what is it? I mean, what are the key differences? You know, what's the 1 or 2 differences between having a job and having your own business? You know, what are the?
Kind of choice more than anything. Obviously, we kind of pick kind of the customer base, when we work, where we work. Kind of got flexibility in that, and kind of the fact that we're kind of in control of it. So we kind of choose where we want it to go, how big we want it to be. Yeah, just the kind of freedom of us being in control.
Brilliant. Okay, excellent. So I think there's a saying that kind of smart people learn from their mistakes and wise people learn from other people's mistakes. What one or two mistakes would you say that you've made that you'd be happy to share that other young entrepreneurs might be able to learn from? You know, one or two things that you've learned, mistakes that you've made that you thought, I won't do it that way next time. Or learnings. What about learnings?
I think, I think one kind of knowing that kind of not everyone is meant to be a customer. I think it's very easy early on to be like, oh yeah, I need to get, especially as you're trying to kind of get established. It's easy to take on kind of any job at all just because it is a job, and it's you kind of, not everybody is meant to be a customer. There's in any industry, which is why kind of refining what your customer is kind of key. Yeah, the other kind of thing is that like early on it seems like not partnering up with other people that you see as competition. So yeah. It's very, when you start out, you think, oh well, that company's not going to want anything to do with me because we're in direct competition, and it's not that way at all. I think most kind of businesses realise there's plenty of work to go around, and it actually works quite nicely. We've got quite a lot of partnerships with companies that are direct competition, and it works really well because even though the direct competition, we still focus in on different areas.
Brilliant.
So yeah, that's key.
Brilliant. Love it. I think collaboration in it. I mean, collaboration is a key word there, I think, which is really good, which you've obviously picked up on, which is great. Okay. All right. So you've heard me say this before, haven't you? 4,000 weeks in the average lifetime. So let's project forward to week number 3,999. Obviously, I won't be around, I don't think, to see it. But so, what things will you have wanted? 2 or 3 things you want to have ticked off your bucket list, and make sure you've done by at that point.
A bit of traveling. Kind of looking at, obviously with the industry we're in, we can kind of travel and work at the same time. So I'd like to do kind of a lot of traveling. RV trip kind of across America.
Love it.
Quite like to go to either the North Pole or the South Pole. Yeah.
Right. You've always liked you've always liked the cold, haven't you? Winter, snow. I know from
winter skiing. Yeah.
Mind you, living in Queensbury, which is very high up in the Yorkshire Hills. You're the first to get snow, aren't you? Anyway, I think, normally. Yeah.
Very much like the North Pole.
That's right, yeah. Okay, good. Okay. So if you were a billionaire today, which I know you're fairly close, what would you be doing with your money?
I think a few things. So investing in stocks, other businesses. I like the idea of kind of angel investing, but then also more kind of hand-holding investing as well.
Okay.
Kind of people that kind of want to work for themselves, but maybe kind of don't have the opportunity or things like that. Kind of experiences, kind of with family, friends, and yeah, I think it'd be nice to do something kind of from a kind of charity, not, but yeah, from a charity side. But
Okay,
yeah.
great. Well done, Ben. Don't forget the Tesla. I think that was always on your list, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. I'll have a few of those.
Yeah. And my Tesla as well. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So just finally, well, a couple of final things. In terms of role models, obviously, you don't have to kind of mention me in this one, but you know, apart from me, who's a role model? Who do you look up to, either in life or in business?
Sort of Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Kind of I've mentioned Tesla, but I think he's pretty full on. He's got the amount of companies that he's kind of got and kind of what they're doing. It's pretty kind of far forward.
Brilliant. Love it, Ben. Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. So I suppose it's, you know, how can people get in touch with you? I mean, people who are going to watch this, how can they get in touch with you?
So either I'm on sort of LinkedIn, or through company websites. My company's Mind Your Website.
Yeah.
So kind of a search for that. It'll come kind of straight through to me. Perfect.
Brilliant. That's great, Ben. Right. I'm just going to say at the end that this is my son, who I'm so proud of, massively out of his comfort zone. Right, he will not have kind of wanted me to do this, but he's done it for me, and I really appreciate that. I'm so proud of him and my daughter Alex, who, by the way, is going to be next, okay, for the interviews. Thanks for doing that, Ben, for me. I really appreciate it, and
right.
That's really good. Thank you for that.